Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Walking with the Master. And I've just had such a time walking with prominent masters, real masters. And the beautiful part about this is that I get a chance to, by God's grace and permission, I get a chance to walk with masters that I have walked with for many, many years. So I don't bring on to this show just anybody. I bring on those who I know and bear witness to, like I bear witness to God himself. So who I have on, listen, everybody, what I want you to do is to now, of course, you need to subscribe, but you need to do a little bit more than subscribe and call somebody, let them know that we have a tremendous master on this show today. And the master that I'm speaking of, no one other than the great Derrick Williams, Hanshi Derrick Williams, my brother, a
Yes, sir.
real master. And, we're going to get into Japan and America. We're going to get into a lot of different things because, we have to touch them in order to, again, bear witness to the truth.
Right.
And to the origin of all people. But anyway, without any further delay, I want to welcome my esteemed colleague, my esteemed brother, my esteemed friend. This is a brother, Hanshi Derrick Williams, who I've known for a long time. I've known for many years, and he is going to share something. Us, my brother, how are you?
Fine, thanking yourself, beloved. I want to thank you
good.
so very much for the opportunity. You understand? And I'm deeply honored, and it's so great to see you, brother. I feel right now I want to just jump through the screen and give you a hug and a salute, brother. You understand? Because at the end of the day, when we came up with the real forces.
Come on.
The real forces. Not no clown. Because we was taught like this, you can tell, and Musa or Doc always said, you can tell when the circus is in town because the town becomes saturated with clowns.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, brother, I'm gonna go right in. You bring it, and I'm gonna tell you like it is, and the way the way it should be, brother.
That's right. That's right.
What we do, we're faced with so much fantasy today. And the thing is that even Master Funakoshi, the founder of Shotokan, was faced with fantasy even in his time. So he stated, and I studied, he said, be careful of those whose mouth resembles that of an expert. Okay? And he said also, be wary of kuchibushi. Now, the term kuchibushi means in Japanese, translated in English, it means mouth warrior. So this, even in his time. So if it was in his time, we're going to be saturated even more so than he was. And that's all over the world, beloved. Not only in our world, but all over the world.
That's right. That's right. That's awesome. Listen, Hanshi, we, on the show, what we do is, I always say, let's start at the root. And the root is, where did I come from? What did I do? How did I get to where I am? And just kind of give everyone an opportunity to walk with you down memory lane in terms of who touched you, who knighted you, and all of that good stuff. So
absolutely
share with everyone, with me, just that walk, please.
Okay, in 1965, I started out in Forest House. The exact date was February 1st, 1965. And I was 6 years old at the time. And I saw a karate demonstration at Forest Neighborhood Center. And I asked my mom, I want to do that. They was introducing new programs that was coming to the center in that year. And it was the first time that I feasted my eyes on martial arts. And I was like, wow. So I was very frail. And so I asked my mother, I really want to do this. So my mother was very overprotective. She was like, listen, She didn't want nothing to happen to her baby boy. In other words, getting hurt. But regardless to what she wanted, I'm like, Mom, I want to do this. I really want to do this. So she signed me up. And at that time, it was the children class. Okay. And my class at that time was from after school. And we went to after school. We did our homework. And then after that, we went into our activity of choice. Mine was karate or martial arts, if you will. So I met Mr. McBride, who was a direct student of Dr. Moses Power. And I met James Yates. So they was teaching classes. So I, went to the class from 6 years old to 13 years old. And when I became 13, I was then elevated to the junior adult class. So they took me to the junior and adult class. And that's when the real beginning. Because I was in there and I was a little nervous because I was a young man and I seen these big grown men with knuckles the size of silver dollars, and I'm like, wow. And then I see them with all this hair on their face and grissom. And then I looked at their uniform and they was sweating. They was not playing. So my mother said to me, baby, are you really ready for this? I said, Mom, I'm already in it. I'm going to go all the way. And at that time, we had to purchase a center card. The center card at that time was only $2.50. So when I went to join the adult class, the director pulled me in the office and said, I don't think you're 13. I was always blessed with a youthful appearance, but I had to always carry my ID around with me because people didn't believe I was the age that I was. However, so he called my mother. My mother had to come in to verify. In other words, she had to bring my birth certificate and verify that I was the age that I said I was. So anyway, so he held me in the office, and I'm starting to tear up because I had everybody in the dojo, and I'm like, I'm missing class, So my moms came, so they got me in, and the director looked towards her and said, Mama, I think you need to feed that boy some more collard greens. And my mother was like, listen, y'all don't understand. I was just excited to get in the class. But just to make a long story short, my teachers at that particular time was Master James Yates and Master McBride. Okay? And that's how it basically all started for me. Now, when I got to the adult class, I was blessed to extend my days of training. So my days of training was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But we did special training on Saturday. Now, I couldn't do it on Sunday because I had to go to church or the masjid. Okay, I couldn't do it on Sunday. Okay, so we did it when they took me on Saturday. That was the Humble Dojo. I didn't know what Humble means, the main headquarters. I didn't know what that meant, but I can tell you this: Mr. McBride used to take me to, if I'm correct, Atlantic Avenue, and he introduced me to Dr. Moses Power.
That's
and
right.
I was so fascinated, brother. I was a young man now, but Master McBride used to bring me to Atlantic Avenue, and he was a part of the Judo Twins. He used to bring me on 34th Street, and it was called Judo Twins. And I know Tom Purdy was headed in that dojo. But when I went to Atlantic Avenue, it was a different flavor. I'm telling you, brother. And I was like, yo, so I didn't recognize the difference between black or white. I just recognized strong martial arts.
Yes.
And so I'm like, listen, this dojo here, which was Atlantic Avenue, and I saw Doc was teaching there. So it was at the blessings of Mr. McBride that we was able to go and train and do whatever. And that's how we got our connected to Doc. Now, one thing I must say, a lot of people, and you can bear me witness, brother, I'm gonna tell it like it is, and I'm not saying it to offend anybody, but I got to tell the truth because there are so many individuals today are trying to get history to favor them. And brother, there were a lot of coochie boochies sitting up in the bleachers when me and you was out there fighting, and you know that we was out there doing the bang bang, and they was up there doing the chat. Okay, Okay, but anyway, so when Master McBride brought me to Doc in Atlantic Avenue, man, those brothers there, they was not playing. Okay. And then at the end of the day, I remember like it was yesterday, just like when I was 6 years old. I was like, wow, you know, and those brothers there, that's where I really learned to train hard, brother.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I seen some prominent people in there sweating, working hard. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So that's been pretty much how everything started for me in that era. Now, Mr. McBride studied, he was a type of man that studied various arts, but he was prominent in jujitsu, which was directly from Dr. Powell's. Okay. So now he was proficient in Shotokan, but what people don't know was Mr. McBride was high ranked in jujitsu and not as high ranked in Shotokan. Okay. So so bottom line is he taught me what he can teach me. Him and Master Yates taught me what they can teach me. But then as I got a certain age, I started exploring deeper these Shotokan, because although I'm proficient in jujitsu, my primary style, I wanted to be Shotokan. I will teach the techniques of jujitsu, but let me explore deeper the art of Shotokan. So with that said, in other words, you don't go to an eye specialist for your foot. You go to an eye specialist for your eye. So I needed to go to a Shotokan specialist to get what I got and to teach the brothers. Now, I was for some time very, very misunderstood because I was very prominent in my Japanese pronunciation and whatever. So, you know, I came up with the name of the Black Jack. Anyway, I'm like, all right, whatever. But that only showed that I was very prominent in what I was studying. I wanted to know, brother, don't just hand me something. Let me go deep into it. Now, you know, I see a lot of brothers doing katas. A lot of brothers posting themselves doing katas on it. But brother, let me tell you something. They only doing movements of kata.
Come on, man.
They don't really understand the true essence of kata, because there are certain students that I taught myself that when I went to teach them the essence of what they're going to tell, oh, that's not relevant. How you going to tell, brother? That is deeply relevant, because bottom line is you need to understand the essence in order to appreciate. One thing I teach a lot is called Anko Chishin. Now, translated, that Anko Chishin, brother, it means to learn from the old in order to appreciate the new.
Come on.
You cannot appreciate the new if you don't understand the old.
That's right.
So that's why I have embroidered on my uniform. I got t-shirts made. It says Anko Chishin, and it means to understand. So when I learned that, brother, and I'll tell you who taught me that. When I learned that, I was like, wow, what a profound lesson. I said, brother, ooh. And I said to myself, I am going to commit myself to this art. I'm going to commit myself wholeheartedly. So, brother, and then I was inspired by the minister in terms of how he studied, brother. And that's what I said. The minister said this in his speech. It said, breaking the shackles of ignorance.
Come on.
That was the topic of that lesson, breaking the shackle of ignorance. So in listening to that and studying that deep, I said, wow. So we are really, really ignorant in a lot of forms. So I said, no, what am I going to do as a black man? What is my responsibility? So my motto, my mission is this is what my mission is, to raise the conscious level of my people through the arts and science of Budo.
Awesome.
That's my mission, is to raise the consciousness level of my people through the arts and science of Budo. So that means in order to raise the conscious level, I got to go deeper myself, because as leaders and teachers, whatever we don't inspect, the world won't respect.
Come on.
You know, so again, the profound lesson that the teacher taught me, Minister Farrakhan, he said, and I quote, the only way we can live in a world free of trick, lies, and deceit and trickery is that we have to become imbued with knowledge. We must love knowledge, having an instinctive desire for knowledge. And he said, and that means we must become readers. Okay? And when we become readers, it said one of the dojo kun is, our dojo kun is hitots. When we use the term in Japanese, hitots, it has to be said a certain way, and it has to be said from the heart. Hitots mean to be one with. Okay? And it means hitots, we shall endeavor to build our character. The second one is hitots, we shall be faithful in our study. Now, please understand the difference between study, you have to commit yourself. Now, you can't just learn a kata, and just because you memorize it, you ain't doing nothing but a bunch of movements. Yes. Because if you're not applying the essence of the kata, like the muscle, what is the difference between contraction and extension? It has one. I teach the sixth element of kata. One of the ones that is called Yun Shinawante. Translated, that means stability at the center of gravity. So you can't throw a punch or receive a punch if you off balance, because your balance will contribute to the power in delivering that punch, block, kick, etc., etc. And that's how that basically, yes, sir. Mm-hmm. So you have to understand the anatomy, which muscles you're using, you know, your fast twitch muscle. These are all the things that you have to study. But when I see people doing kata just for the sake of doing it to inflate their ego, as, oh, I know this kata. No, I can tell you. So people, they stay away from me. Now, I have what you call a Kenkyu Kai. I studied that the old Okinawans, they had what you call a study group. And you know, brother, that you go to church, they have Bible study.
That's right.
You go to the masjid, they have Quranic study.
Yes.
So why, as martial artists, we don't have a Kenkyu Kai, a study group? Not just doing movements, winning trophies. And you know, brother, me and you got a lot of trophies. I stopped counting that 5,000, brother. And praise be to Allah, I'm still competing. Just defended champion. And brother, let me tell you something about that. I don't compete for the sake of competing. I look at myself as a messenger. And when I say myself as a messenger, to teach the message of traditional karate, to show the relevancy that it's still alive and popping here today. And I'm not your Asian counterpart, no disrespect to my Asian brothers. I'm a black man.
That's right.
And let us not get it twisted. When you go to Master Mariam, and you practically live there, brother, so you know better than I do. So listen, when you go to Master Mariam and you look at the ceiling, on that ceiling, it has Arabic writing. Am I correct?
That's right.
Now, the minister is not accused of being too Arabic. So why should I be accused for being too Japanese?
Come on.
So my thing is, those who are ignorant, that simply means that they don't really want to learn that. But how can you say Shotokan? That's not Swahili, or is it Arabic? Mm-hmm. It's Japanese. So again, apply yourself, get to it. And that's basically how it is, brother. And that's the way I look at it. But go ahead.
And I'm glad that you're saying this, see, because one, it's great that I can bear witness because we come from that place. We were
Yes,
observing each other. We were competing against each other. We were doing all
absolutely.
of that,
Yes,
you
indeed.
know. And when you perform, and I don't even want to say perform,
Yes,
when
sir.
you demonstrated the spirit,
Right.
when you demonstrated the spirit, it was no question that you were not trying to act like something. You were being that which you were
Absolutely.
demonstrating.
Yes,
And
sir.
unsure and
Right.
whatever the kata was,
Yes, sir.
you put yourself into that form, into that kata, and you brought back a old period or the old spirit,
Yes.
and
Yes.
you demonstrated to a new people. So I saw it. I
Yes, sir. Yes,
appreciate
sir.
every time I saw you demonstrate what you believed in. You
Yes, sir.
see, believing in something is
Mm-hmm.
important. Not believing in a Japanese way, you
Yes, yes.
believing in an original way, and
Yes.
you were demonstrating it. So I'm a bearer witness
Yes,
to
sir.
you. So I appreciate you and all that you've shared in that. Now, this is the thing that I want to ask of you. When we talk about redemption, and let me read a little something from the minister
Yes,
also,
sir.
so that, see, because everything that is being taught, everything that we speak about,
Yes, sir.
we, every punch, the,
Right.
the type of punch that we give, you can utilize a particular aspect of life and say, this is relative to that.
Right. Yes, sir.
Standing, whatever the case is, if a teacher doesn't show the relationship of that movement with
Yes,
a
sir.
real living spirit and action, then there's a problem that he's being taught, or the person is being taught to execute kicks and whatnot, but they're not being taught life. And I
Yes.
know you are one who teach
Yes.
individuals life while you're teaching the art. So that's beautiful. So
Right.
this is what the minister says. He talks about redemption because, a redemptive spirit is saying that everyone can be redeemed for the most part. But anyway, let me read what the minister says. Um, the minister says, Minister Farrakhan, he says, the person who is given the task of redemption is a person who is willing to pay the price of redemption. What is the
Mm.
price of redemption? He said, the price is that your love must approach the love of Allah, God, that
Mm.
you may be long suffering, because
Mm.
without long suffering, you interrupt the process by which people are redeemed. He said,
Mm.
consider the quality of being slow to anger.
Mm.
And you can relate that to in our in our battle, that we're not
Yes.
looking, even though we're taught to fight, we're not
Yes. Yes.
looking to come out quickly with that. We're
Yes,
slow
sir.
to anger. So
Uh-huh.
anyway, he says, well, you could return like for like, but if you are a redeemer, or if you are following a redeemer, returning like for like, not, I'm sorry, returning like for like would not be sin, but it would injure the process by which the sinner would
Mm.
eventually come to redemption.
Mm.
So
Mm.
I'm gonna
Mm.
stop there for a moment so I can give you an opportunity to kind of, do that translation and,
Yes, sir.
and
Yes,
go
sir.
into the art, and how are we redeemers as teachers, and is it do the student get an opportunity for redemption, in situations? So anyway, I give that to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Now, first and foremost, thank you very much for the opportunity again. Most of us, when we grew up, we learned the term sensei. Now, if you dissect the term sensei, there is two Japanese character. Actually, there is Chinese character. Let me tell you why. Because the history of Japan, they did not have a culture. The Japanese patterned themselves after the Chinese. That's why most of the kanji is still Chinese. Okay, so the term sensei, if you ask most of us, we say teacher. But let me give you a little deeper synopsis, as the minister said. And you notice that term synopsis means to go deep into it, operate. Okay, brother, forgive me for being a little excited.
No, don't forgive me.
But I'm teaching. So ahead, man. The thing is, when you term sensei, you have sen and then you have sei. You have two characters. The term sen means you hear sensei, you hear senpai. You hear sen, no sen. Okay, now let me talk to that about that sen. S-E-N. It means to come before. One who has come before. Now the term sei means light. One who has come before you to give you light. So we could not have been redempted if we was in the presence of a sensei who taught us and gave us life. This is why we look at the children of our sensei, we look to them as father. Now, most of our sensei, you know, they like our father. We spent more time with our teachers, our sensei, than our biological father.
That's right.
And sometimes our biological father said, because I know my dad said this. He said, boy, you like that Chinese man more than you like me. And a frown came in my face. I said, Dad, how can you say such a thing? I said, Dad, let me explain something to you. In my infancy, I said, Dad, I love you because without you, there wouldn't be no me. I said, right. Dad, another thing is, I must correct you. My teacher's not Chinese, he's Japanese. Okay? Don't get it twisted up with the, all right? Okay, now, anyway, second thing is, Dad, there is a different kind of love. You out there working, providing for the family. Dad, I love you. If it wasn't for you, I won't eat. Dad, you're the one who paid my dues to be with that Japanese man. You see? So, yeah. Not getting off the track, but that's the profound meaning of sensei. So when you in the presence of a real sensei, he or she will redeem you, take you to greater heights. Now, the minister also said this, and I live according to this. He said, beloved, remember, a snake cannot find success in being a cow. So I'm not trying to find success in being other than who I am. You have to be who you are. And when you know who you are, God will exalt you to greater heights. So we, as the student, we still have teachers. I got students, former students and stuff, who think that you need to stay in the presence of a teacher. I'm a Hachidan, an 8th degree black belt in Shotokan. I never awarded myself a title. My teachers awarded me my title, and I have the Minkyo to prove it. Now, I hear all these cats using the term, but they don't even want to, if I say, what does Hanshi means, they can't tell me. So all I say to them is when I'm extending to come to the Kinchukai, bring your notebook and write down. And again, when you bow coming in, don't come in there with no titles. Come in there and don't come in there, just come in there with yourself, lowly of heart. And I will share with you. So my duty is I'm a messenger, but I can't redeem nobody if I was not redeemed myself by a great teacher or great teachers. So beautiful. That's my meaning on redemption.
Beautiful, beautiful, yes, beautiful. Awesome. Now, you have, as you mentioned, you have attained your rank, and your rank is not something that you've assumed on your own.
Right.
What do you think about those who, because they desire something, they allow, organizations to give them something that had nothing to do with their development?
Absolutely. Now, there is what I would call a genetic brand. We say Shotokan and Shotokan.
Huh.
When we say Shotokan, there are a lot of practitioners out there who practice in Shotokan. They get their Shotokan out of a can. So that's why we say Shotokan. Now, when you say Shotokan, we know you got to go deep. Now, I have taught a lot of students. Now, there are certain students out there who think they can teach me. So when I said that, when I see the arrogance, I become very introverted, very quiet, and I don't say nothing. And cause my teacher said, be careful of those who speak but don't really know, and never speak in the hearing of those who claim to know, for they will despise your wisdom. So when they start speaking, I just go, But if they was wise, like yourself and me, they will stay under the tutelage of a teacher,
yes,
a coach, guidance.
Yes. Yes.
Because whatever you got, see, I got senpais, and I love my senpais. Again, we work with that word senior. And I have advisors. Although I was elevated to a high level, I want to always stay in the presence of someone who advised me. You understand? And that's just it. Because it brings about better understanding of what I'm doing. And that's basically it. So those who consider themselves this and that, now, they go to these generic organizations. And if you look at a lot of those diplomas, they send money to the organization, and the money send them their diploma back. Now, unlike us, we was in the presence of teachers taking tests, a live test. We got thrown around, flipped around, punched in the face, had to do kata. We didn't pay under the table for our certificates. We got them from a legitimate organization. And the bottom line is, I know certain people, they got a Hanshi, claiming Hanshi rank, and they got it from one organization, but they claim it in another. You cannot be Hanshi in Shotokan if you are Hanshi in this.
That's right.
Bring forth the document stating that. Now, when you go to a doctor, you go to a doctor's office, you see all of his diplomas hanging behind his desk. When you come to a dojo, you don't really see too many diplomas, okay? But when I can look at a diploma, because thank God I can write and read Japanese. I can look at a diploma and tell you if it's generic or if it's legitimate from a legitimate organization. Because I'm telling you, brother, they wearing these ranks. They got a rank in this rank, and they claim it. Then they issuing high ranks to their student, and it says Shotokan. And I'm like, brother, that's a mistake. But they want to keep me out. They want to keep me out. You know why? It's because they're afraid that I'm going to tell the truth, which I'm committed to it. So don't bring that foolishness around me, because it says in our last dojo kun, he taught, we must be wary of foolishness. And that means foolishness on all kinds of levels. You understand? So that's basically, and it don't mean how many trophies you got, how many fights you have. That don't make you, brother. What makes you is character. That's the ultimate aim. So when I see brothers with these swelled up knuckles, and that don't mean nothing. What is your character like? Okay, character is everything. You understand? Because like what I got a saying that says, higher levels equal higher devils.
That's right.
So a lot of times, the most money you got, you want to act all arrogant. Yeah, well, get that done. No, when you get a high rank in any style, you want to act like you don't practice no more. Okay, so you become complacent in your practice. Okay, and then you start to walk around giving orders. You look bad and you look nice in the front of your students, but then when it comes out to facing the real world, you ain't nothing but cotton ball. You understand? And that's real tough, And if I put any weight on you, you're gonna shrivel up, like a flower that's not getting enough nutrients. So I see a lot of instructors who are not getting a lot of proper nutrients, but they guard in the front of their teachers. Excuse me, in the front of their students.
That's
you understand? Right. They talk the talk, but then when you face with a real, oh, I never know that. You never know that because you didn't stay long enough to get taught that. You want to blame the teacher.
Come on.
But can't blame the teacher. What type of student was you? Huh? That's the question. See, my thing is we are scholars. We stay under the tutelage of great teachers, whether they're dead or alive. Because even when you are spiritual, you can't die because you invested time in that person or that student or that deshi. And that student is carrying a torch and he's proud or she's proud carrying a torch like, my teacher gave this to me. And we are committed to dying on our post as opposed to crying on our post. You understand? We ain't no room for that. So we didn't understood when we was growing up, but we thought the teacher didn't like us. But then when they hit us with that shit, like, whack, we didn't have room to, let me see some tears. Man, listen, it was like we was constipated with tears, brother. Because if we'd have let them run down, we was afraid of that shinai.
Well, yeah.
You understand? And that's what it is, though, brother. Oh man, it's just, yeah, man. So like Master Funakoshi said, be wary of those whose mouth resemble that of an expert. They only become what I stated earlier, Kuchi Bushi, mouth warrior. And Chojan Miyagi said this, as a result of mind and body training, it can build an indelible spirit. Actually, I said it's indelible spirit, but that's the spirit that we was blessed with, brother. And thank God that we're still blessed to really push it on and stay in tune and stay relevant today. You see, because again, a lot of students, they want that fast ranks, fast everything, fast food. No. Now, if you can throw 25 kicks fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can throw 20. Now just do 10 of them slow. Those slow kicks will hurt you more. Like, you're going to strain to do slow kicks. That are better than those flim flam kicks.
That's right. That's right.
And another thing, even in today's tournament, we're hard fighters, and we were always hard fighters. We was fighting before they even had safety kicks, any safety punch. We only tape up our knuckles, and that was it. Right. That's it. Now with that, see, now there were brothers who would literally sit, and sisters who were sitting up in the bleachers, know our name, and they want to try to associate us with. They want to associate with greatness. Nah, brother, you didn't pay your dues. You wasn't out there.
Come on, now.
So we don't want that fast. We didn't come through that fast, so we ain't gonna give it to you fast. So I have been accused by certain students. Oh, sensei's taking too long to teach me that kata. It's a thing called hito kata sanin, and translated that means 1 kata, 3 years. Now check this out, brother. When I learned a kata back in the days, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have film. We didn't have none of that. It was just only the word of mouth. My teacher, the Japanese teacher, came once a year at a gashuku. He taught us that kata, and we did that kata over and over until he came back the next year. Then we were blessed to learn another kata. Yeah. But I see all these students, they rushing and trying to learn kata, and they want to look doing it, and I'm like, wow, they don't have and I'm looking at them and saying, wow. I don't comment. Because I don't do things for likes. I don't do things for a blue thumbs up. Yes, I don't do that. No, I look at it and I won't say one word. Because I just would say to myself, that brother needs to be guided. Okay? And then they teaching the same way, and their students look just like them. Yes. And the thing is, there is no such thing as a bad student. There's only a bad teacher. And I say that all the time. There is no such thing as a bad student. The teacher needs to check himself. But see, the bottom line is, and that's just it. But the bottom line is to stay in the teachings. That's the key thing. Yes, sir.
Man, awesome. You know, you were mentioning something before, and I want to touch on a
Yes.
couple things. One, it reminded me what you had said about the teacher and the teacher teaching you. And you know, Doc, I remember Doc, and many may remember Doc saying, you know, I am Sanukis, and as a young fella, you know, and growing up, I mean, you know, when he would say, I am Sanukis, and he would say it like him.
Right, exactly.
I am Sanukis. And I saw at that time, I thought Sanukis was a system.
Uh-huh.
But and this is the point that I'm making right now. See, it's when Doc passed that I truly understood what he meant.
Yes.
Because his absence made me to understand
Yes. Yes.
Then see, so he was introducing himself.
Right.
It was his understanding that he got from his teacher and from Almighty God,
right,
that he began to teach us. So when he said, I am Sanukis, we should have understood that I am learning him.
Right, absolutely. Yes.
Studying him and his life.
Yes.
So students don't understand, you know, many want to say that, you know, they study Sanukis and for you, Shotokan or Shotokan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But when they study under you and you are teaching them what you're teaching them, they do not truly understand that they are studying you.
Yes, sir.
And what you bring to the whole world, and that they begin to become, that they have accepted to become a student under you. And see, they are not understanding that they're learning you and what you're going. So when they choose to, you know, kind of think that you are holding them back or not giving them what they want, see, they have gone past. So now this is the other part that I want to mention too.
Yes.
When we give courtesy, what I've taught my students is that you may think that I'm giving you courtesy because I am, you know, receiving your saying to me, you give courtesy. I said, but why do I return the courtesy? I said that I return the courtesy because I don't want to accept what you are sending to me. So I bow my head to allow it to pass over me to my teachers that came before me. So that's a, you know, these are thinkings or thoughts that they have to understand that's bigger than just a kata or something like that, you know.
Yes, indeed.
Much is given, much is required. So I appreciate all that you've given. And I know you have something to share from that. Please.
Yes. Yes. See, and even understand the bow. We say in Japanese, rei. But if rei means to bow. But if you ask a great percentage of the what does rei means to bow? No, rei comes from the term reikishi. And what you say when you bow to each other, that is called otogai, mutual respect. Okay, so when you bow, and then it's a certain way to bow. When you bow, like you said, when you say onogashimasu, that is saying, teacher, please receive me. And when the teacher bows back to you, he's accepting you. Okay. But don't bow to me and come in there and want me to teach you the way you want, because the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Okay. And another thing is, like you said, Doc said, I am. That's a profound statement, because it states even in the Bible, Jesus said, I am that I am. Am I correct?
Yes, right.
Right. So again, when our teachers teach us, I am, and they pass it on to us, we become them.
That's right.
Okay, we already, that's the torch is passed to us. We accepted the responsibility. We embrace it, and they taught us so hard that we willing to die on it. You understand? And
That's right.
every dojo have what you call bananas. What is a banana? Bananas are those type of students who just pretty much pay the rent. But you get your hardcore students that want, and we came from that. Okay, in other words, you didn't take, Doc didn't like tournaments, and you know that.
That's right.
I know that. I know Doc didn't like tournaments. But
I had to sneak there. I had to sneak to the tournament.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right. Now check it out. But you know why we did that? Because we, in our youth, we wanted to know what we was learning worked.
That's right. That's
Kicking
right.
and punching at air and prearranged fighting is one thing. I want to get out there and pow! I want to feel what it's like to get hit and
That's
to
right.
hit. You
Come
feel
on.
me? So
Yeah.
that's what really gave us. And then when we went back to the dojo with bloody knuckles and a black eye, Doc was like, yeah. Because he knew we was getting it in. You know, and we refused to sign on or co-sign Kuchi Bushi. You understand? So when Doc saw that, Doc had in the back of his mind, okay, these little warriors here, they like to fight. So Doc taught us a certain way, and he hit us hard. You know why? Because he hit us to really condition us.
That's right.
To receive a hit from somebody else or the street. You see? And so when I saw Doc walking, I even tried to part my hair like Doc. I used to have my and oh my God, I was like, wow. And he walked, he was cool. He was cool. And then he would have his uniform, his keikogi on his back, rolled up, and I was like, woo! Now see, that's old school. So I was so inspired by that, brother, that I teach a ceremony on the proper way of folding your gi.
Yes.
And how, because there was two different ways to fold, and the proper way of tying a hakama and things of that nature. And one thing we learned also, it says, when you made visible what is not true, what is true become invisible to you.
Come on.
So what we had to do, we had to make things visual to us, okay? Because we had a vision, but we didn't lean on that vision, but we trained on that vision. See, it's a difference between leaning on the vision and training on the vision.
Come on.
The difference is we trained on the vision because we made that vision reality.
Yes.
Now, with those who just land on the vision, that vision ain't gonna never come into fruition. Okay, so that's why I said, so we made visible in our mind what we want to do. And when we went to our dojos, we trained with that vision in mind. And then we went to the tournaments to make that visual a reality.
Listen, everybody, I want y'all to really, you're in the dojo right now.
Yes, sir.
This is the dojo right now. You're on and you're observing this. Some of you may not even realize that you're training, but this is training because you're being taught right now on a higher level than kicking and punching. You're being taught where in your mind you begin to see, how you may have been hit and you didn't even realize you were hit before, and now you may even be getting hit because you thought you knew something that maybe you didn't quite know well. So I just want you to understand that you should be giving some bows. You should be giving some raise right now so that you could understand and accept this for what it really is, and it's knowledge for you and I, to learn about these masters. So that's why we call it walking with the master. See, it's one thing, there's a story in the Quran that it is Musa traveling, or Moses traveling with the wise men.
Mm-hmm.
See, Moses asked to travel with the wise men. He wanted to study under the wise men, but the question was, will you be patient with him? And what that patient means is,
Yes.
will you submit yourself to what he teaches you? Because
Right.
there's no need for you to walk with a man that you question and you
Right.
have doubt about what
Right.
he says. See, so you start walking with him. We're walking with the master, but the question is, are you listening and submitting to the teaching that's coming at you? So this is what this is here. You have an opportunity. So the story in the Quran is where Moses asked to travel with him, and he accepted him, but he accepted him with reluctance. And in my opinion and belief is that he already knew that he wasn't going to be right, but he still gave him the opportunity to learn. And he went through three various situations where each time he questioned him, like, why would you do that? Well, how do you ask a man that you believe is wiser than you? That's why you came to him. And then you question him like you have the same level of wisdom.
Right. That's right.
So at the end of it, he said, you know, this is it. You know, that's enough now, because I knew, you know, I said you would not have patience with me. You know, but then he gave him the wisdom of what happened. See, because he didn't know. So when he gave him the wisdom, see, this ended the relationship in terms of that, because he did not wait to get the knowledge, because it took too long for him.
Yes.
Because he had his own thinking. So, you know, so as I listen to you, Hanshi, I hear, you know, that there are students who are walking with the wise man, but they're questioning him at the same time.
Yes. And that's why it says, lean not on your own understanding.
Yes.
It teaches you. And beloved, I reflect on that. Lean not on your, this is why, as we spoke earlier, I still have advisors. You still have advisors. Individuals and the minister still have advisors.
That's right.
So we need to learn from that and those great men while they are here.
That's right.
And even when they're not physically here, the teachings are imbued in us. You understand? So that's why I said it's important that we stay on our post and not lean on your own understanding. Because the bottom line is, you know, you learn a few things. And that's one thing I learned, was that a certain student, they didn't have patience. And I prayed to Allah to give me the patience of Job.
Yes.
You see, to give me the patience of Job. When Shaitan took everything from him.
Yes.
All he had, I mean, his wife left him.
Yes.
But he had his patience with Almighty God Allah is what really allowed him to mend through.
Come
you
on.
Understand? And when you got the patience, and I learned that as a young man, and as I became elder, I said I must incorporate that in my way of life, in my living, because see, life don't come with no instruction manual. It ain't like you can buy a car and open the glove compartment and you got the instruction manual. Life don't come with an instruction manual. So knowing that, what you do, you stay in the guidance of the teacher.
That's right.
Always.
That's right.
And that way you can get good instruction. And if you don't understand it, you have the blessings of asking him. Or when you are not in his presence, you must do the work, because by doing the work, it will lead to better understanding. You must pray though, and ask Allah to open your mind to receive the blessing. Because just because you're doing a bunch of movement don't necessarily mean you know the kata.
Come on.
You have to take and understand the whole meridian. That's why they call it the Bubishi. Why do you think the Bubishi was written? Now, in the Bubishi, they have what you call dietary laws. So my thing is, when I grew up, I said, let me take that and match it up. I need to see the connection with this, with Islam. And brother, all my research, I said, wow, it's one and the same. It is absolutely one and there is no difference. So what I must do is connect the dots. And once I connect the dots, I said, I began to understand. So when I make study, I always ask God to open up my mind and have me to please, if it is your will, to let me receive it. I don't want to lean on my own understanding, because I'll make a mistake. Even if I don't care if I've been training over 50 years.
That's right.
I'm capable of making mistakes.
That's right. That's
but
right.
if I take my time and understand the continuity of movements, to appreciate Jun Shinwante, stability at the center of gravity, Shakugan, the fixing of the eyes. You understand? These are the principles that's an income. So spend time nourishing yourself on these principles and don't worry about the movement. Nourish yourself. And once you nourish yourself, you will become wholesome. Don't you run around here learning this kata. I bet you don't know. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I challenge you and tell you that you don't know the history of it. Oh, well, that's not important. Oh, yes, it is important.
Yes, it is. That's right.
I said, Uncle Chishin, learn from the old in order to appreciate the new. You understand? Yeah. And that's the truth, brother. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Let me ask you this.
Come on.
Now, what we want to do is, kind of in our closing, our sisters. I want you to talk about women in the art.
Oh,
yes. Tell me what's your thought about women in the martial arts?
Okay, that's a beautiful thing, brother. I opened up my dojo on December 13th, 1975. My class consisted of all women, no men. I had no men in my dojo. But the women, listen to me carefully, the women, brother, when I saw them doing it, they provided a certain level of fluidity, water, flow. And they were most humble and strong, brother. OMG. They were strong. and brother, they trained right beside me and with me. And that's still the way I do it today. They train. They got it in, brother. And when they did kata, the beauty came out. So as a teacher, I was really learning from them.
Come on.
And I'm gonna say that again. As their teacher, I was really learning from them. What was I learning? I was learning fluidity, how to flow with things, how to do things from a different perspective. Not only from one dimension, hard. Yes. I see everybody doing kata. They do it hard, chest out. No. I learned it when I saw the beauty of their movement. I was like, wow, that's what I have to learn how to move like. So I was learning from them. And when they didn't understand something, they brought it to me. So the sisters, and I said to myself, I don't want no brothers in my dojo. And I got to the point where I didn't want brothers because the sisters had already showed me. And when the brothers started to come to the dojo, I made them respect the sisters. I said, oh, you want to act like that? I put the sisters on them, and the sisters spanked them. Okay? And I'm telling you the truth. The sisters spanked them. So my thing is, when I saw them do it, they did it with a certain love. They did it with passion. And they do it. It's just like the mother of. So they became the mother of. They became the mother of me. And if I didn't relate that to them or tell them, I'm telling you now. It might be 50-something years later, but women always provide the, and they did it hard. And I didn't cut no slack for them. You understand? But when they went out with me, they always conducted themselves as a woman.
Yes.
You understand? So you got to know there is a certain level of balance. I don't want nothing hard like me. You got to, and they taught me how to see balance. Let me talk about it. In Chinese, they say yin yang. In Japanese, they say in yo. You cannot have the hard if you don't appreciate the soft.
Yes.
And even in kata, there are certain movements that are fluid, soft, very soft. That's why we say you got karada no shinshuku. Let me say that again. It's called karada no shinshuku, which means understand the soft and the hard movements. know when it's supposed to be hard and snappy, and know when it's supposed to be slow.
Yeah.
But when I see certain people doing it, they doing it in a very, very aggressive manner. And I said, Lord, thank God for me being able to study the women. And I remember my teacher, Master Ozawa, who taught me Shotokan, he taught me how to be fluid like the bird, study the crane. So I went to the zoo and studied the crane. So when I saw the crane walking, that's what make my unsu better. You understand? Because and I went and studied the animals. Okay. But to elaborate, women are the source. Okay. And bottom line is when you teaching a woman, she absorb it quicker. She absorb it because her motherly instincts start to kick in. And then when you see that as the brother, leader, teacher, it humbled me. And I go, this is what I do. Just like what I go, because I learned something. Yes. And when I nod that head, I should go, And she goes, Sensei, what is wrong? I said, Queen, it's not what is wrong. It is what I learned and what you taught me. And so she looked at me and said, You know what I'm saying? So it was equality. You see? So, yes, sir. So that's my take on training women. Whoa, I mean, the epitome. Yes, sir.
That's beautiful, man.
Yes,
There's definitely, we have to definitely extend this to another time. I got to bring you on and we got to do more of it, but this is our channel. And I want you to know that you are my brother, you're my friend, and you're a teacher of mine because I've studied you.
Yes, sir. Oh, praise be to Allah.
And I pray that you continue to have great health and strength, and that Allah bless you to just continue teaching.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much.
An elder now. You are an example now. And we have to do the best that we can to keep ourselves present.
Yes, sir.
And of course, if we're present, we're going to be relative.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And
relevant.
Yes, sir. Just to share with that, I was just appointed the USA Karate Federation New York representative. And this is how we get inner city kids to the Olympics. Okay. Awesome. And also Adidas became one of my sponsors. And I'm working with the Board of Education as well as the Children's Aid Society to bring these to as I stated earlier, to bring the level of consciousness of my people through the art of Budo. And with that said, also, so they have tournaments and things of that nature coming up. So we want to basically just get these sharp. That way, when you look at the Olympics, you'll see us. And another thing is, this is the position that Thomas the Puppet, the late great Thomas the Puppet, first occupied. He was the first Black man. So now for it to be bestowed on me, I'm honored. And it was just bestowed on me last week, and I just filled out the information that I accepted it. So I am now the USA Karate Federation New York representative, and all praise be to Allah.
Man, congratulations.
Thank you so much, beloved. Thank you so very much.
Man, thank you. This was a wonderful interview, and I am learning so much. I'm so pleased that Allah blessed me to be able to walk with you all.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Well, we walked in the past, and I'm able to walk now because even though, we've seen each other, we have to learn more, deeper things about each other. And I'm just pleased to be able to share this particular walk with you this hour that we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much, brother. Thank you. I'm deeply honored. Thank you so very much.
Yes,
thank you so much. Oh,
family, listen. Thank you for being present. I pray that you enjoyed what you heard, that you learned from it. Sometimes enjoyment is not, you should be able to enjoy being chastised also.
Yes.
Because you know that the chastisement that you get is because of love.
Yes,
So
yes.
when it is in love, you enjoy it. You may not like it when it's happening, but you
Right.
got to know that it's going to give you benefit down the line. So anyway, thank you for all that you all have, that you do. You come on, you listen, and I get great responses from you. Well, continue to learn, and thank you for being here. So make sure that you again you subscribe and share with everyone else. Share this information and knowledge that is being given. Let them know where you can get it from. You can go to the official Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad YouTube channel to know that my name, as you see it, is Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad. I was blessed with that name from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan while in Mecca. So that is so much a blessing. But I know that so many know Anthony Muhammad. I still have to say it and whatnot, but I want you to know that I am Grandmaster Abdul Azziz Muhammad, and I am also recognized in the former name as Grandmaster Anthony Muhammad. Thank you. Love you, my brother.
Love you too, brother. Thank you so very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Take care, everybody.
Every student of a master here today, you reflect your master teacher. You want to walk like him. You want to talk like her. But you start by having an object in front of you that you admire.